Hey everybody, welcome back to Engage on UMFM 101.5. These are your hosts, Josue DeVee and Cade Jones. Today we have a really awesome episode. We're going to be speaking to Artbeat Studio, a wonderful organization here in the city. They run unique community-based, self-directed, peer-supported programming, providing social supports, a working art studio and gallery space, as well as mentorship for individuals who are living with mental illness. The purpose of it is for recovery and empowerment. So we're excited to learn a lot more about what you guys do. And I guess without further ado, you can introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. Hi. My name is Uyen Pham, and I am the executive director of Artbeat Studio. I came on board here in 2018 as the executive assistant, and then 6 months later, I was the executive director. And here we are.
Sweet. So at Artbeat, what is it exactly that y'all do? Do you want to jump into some specifics about the programs and services that you guys offer?
Absolutely. So I'll start. It's kind of hard to explain. So usually I take people through on like a tour and, I describe all three sites. So Artbeat Studio operates three major programs. And we also, in each of the site has the program and it has also the pillars that we kind of engage there. So we'll start off here in the exchange where it all started back in 2004. So here we have the program called Artists in Residence. And here we give free studio space for artists living with, mental health challenges, but they use their art or any sort of creative expression as a way to cope and as a way to go on their recovery journey. So we give free studio space. It's more of this is where the community-based program is. The other ones are as well, but this one is, the groups are in for, 6 months, with the last month really focusing on their biannual show and just really working on that trust and while creating art, but trusting other people, trusting each other while they're in residence here. And then we have our Studio Central, which is our urban art center. And that is, we just recently moved to Portage Place this past summer, but we've been open since 2011, I want to say. And, it's our urban art center. We have free art workshops for everybody. It starts at 2:00 now until 4 daily. And, people come in, it's just a place for them to do art in the morning. Before the workshops, we have open studio. People can come in with all of their art supplies, all of their work, and just work quietly and also work with others as well. It's just really engaging. And this is where the artists build connections with the community as well. And that's what we really focus here at Artbeat, really focusing on that community connection, because it's just so hard, especially for people with lived mental health experience. They're always experience one of the symptoms is feelings of loneliness and isolation. And so just that community connection is quite important for their journey. And at Upbeat is where we sell all of the artwork. We display and showcase artwork from our alumni and They volunteer for shifts there after the residency program. And, they can sell their art. They can sell all of their other alumni art as well. And the best part is we help them with their pricing, but they keep 80% of their sales and they donate 20% back to Artbeat. So that's kind of the gist of the major programs of Artbeat.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome to hear. So being that you guys, do art programming and run different sites and things like that, I'm sure that you have so many different types of people coming through from the community, coming to be a part of your programming, be a part of what Artbeat does. Why is it so important to have a place like that in the community? I know you touched a little bit on it with people struggling with mental health, of course, but in a more broader definition, why is it important to have a place like Artbeat Studio?
We always say here, if your mental health is well today, but you may know somebody who's also experiencing some mental health challenges. Mental health affects everybody, so it does not discriminate. And here in our program, we've seen as young as 18. We are an adult program. 18 who dropped out of high school. He's gone back now. And all the way up to 74 years old is one of our oldest. And, it can happen anytime. It doesn't matter if and we've seen teachers, nurses, doctors, unemployed, heavily employed, nurses, it really doesn't discriminate. And here at Artbeat, that discrimination and that stigma, of having a mental health or, just mental health challenges, it's kind of like unspoken here. People are free to be themselves. They create. Here, it's just all about the art making, the healing, and we empower them to be who they are and not be their mental health illness or challenges that a lot of people inflict that kind of label on them. Here also the artists and the participants of Studio Central, they just really want that connection. So sometimes just a motivation to leave their house and not to dwell in their own kind of sadness or depression, but to go out and see the world and to make friends. It's really hard, as you know, to make friends when you're older, let alone, older and also living with a lived mental health challenges there.
Yes, definitely makes sense. So you mentioned that you have a free art studio. Can you let us know kind of what a day in the Artbeat Free Studio looks like? What do people come in and do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're open at 11 o'clock, second floor of Portage Place, just around the corner of Dollarama. And, it depends on the participant. We have volunteers there as well. So our volunteers, we have roles such as receptionist, also sanitizer. That's a new thing since COVID. Greeters, artist, assistant as well. We have different roles. So if somebody has a role to fill that day, then they will come in at 11 or wherever their time slot is. But we open at 11 if you want to do just like open studio. So, we have tables and chairs set up. You just do your own kind of artwork. It's quiet. There are others around that you can talk to if you wish. And then at 2 o'clock, we have an art workshop, either led by our art director, Marissa Hoff, or usually it's an alumni from the program. And, our workshops, the usual visual art, like acrylic painting and such like that. But we also branch out and we also do origami. Right now, last week we did Christmas cards using origami. And then, we have other workshops, jewelry making, pastel, rock painting, anything that people, mask making as well. Things that anybody's interested, or if we have an alumni and that's what they want to teach. All of the materials are provided at the Urban Art Center. So you just need to come in and just do art with us from 2 to 4. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday, we don't have an art workshop. It's open for our writers group. So our writers club, they will meet, they share their poems, they do a verbal kind of like reading around the table of their poetry, a little critique. So that's on Thursdays. And then Friday, we're back open for the art workshops there. And we're open until 5.
That sounds incredible. You mentioned briefly you were talking about new things as a result of COVID pandemic, and I was curious, was COVID-19 a major barrier when the restrictions started, just in terms of impeding your work at Artbeat, or not so much? What was that kind of like?
Yeah, I'm sure for everybody else too, it threw us in for a loop. Mid-March of 2020, we had to close all 3 of our sites, and all the staff, we just went online. We met every day on Zoom. That for me, that was also a way for my staff to keep in touch, not only with each other, but also as a meeting point and also as that kind of connection, as well as I knew many of my staff. We're a very small group. I think there was only 5 or 6 of us at that time. We all kind of live alone, or, we weren't living with our families, and we just had small families. So I thought, we definitely need to meet every day. I didn't want my staff to start experiencing, isolation and those feelings of loneliness. And we delivered our programs online, which was great. But at the same time, it posed a different barrier for us, as many of our participants weren't able to go online. So we had participants who didn't have access to internet, who didn't have access to a device for them to go online if there was internet. So, we created art kits, about three rounds, I believe. So we did the first round with Winnipeg Foundation early on, and then we did about 200 kits with Safe at Home Manitoba, and then we did another 60 kits with the Victoria Hospital Foundation this past spring. And so these kits provided art and also instructions, like videos from our alumni on the videos and as DVDs and as USBs for people to follow along and to do the art as well. It did pose a problem that our store had to close, and also our Urban Art Center, which was a major focus in, our alumni's lives. They come in, they do their volunteer. This was their social kind of connection. And so being closed, those 2 places, mandatory closure, we tried calling them or just try to keep that connection. If they were able to come online to see us, we did our workshops online, but Upbeat Artworks really got hit hard. Our alumni weren't able to sell their art, which meant, they weren't able to get their 80%. We continue to pay our rent at all of our sites sites and, and just those kind of things. And then, when we came back, it was just on 2 weeks of what the new rules are. They were asking us, they were relying on us to provide them with this kind of information, just from, mask wearing to then when the vaccines came in, if they can come double vax, unvax, and we were their information for them. So we're glad that even with COVID now that we're able to open with restrictions, of course, because we follow all the health rules. You do have to be double vax to go to our urban art center and such like that. But we're happy that we're able to be back and able to have some sort of team back for our alumni and for our participants.
Definitely. Yeah, it makes sense that COVID, is obviously a very big barrier. Speaking of barriers, I guess with COVID aside, what are some of the barriers that your organization might face in general, even before COVID or after the pandemic? What kind of barriers stand in the way of you guys doing the work that you want to do?
Well, as with all, not-for-profits and charities, the life of our organization is, on grants and, so just applying for grants and seeing we're successful, and just trying to find that core money where we can just keep in operations without having to find new grants for us to stay alive is always a major one, just in general for charities and not-for-profits there. Another one would be like right now, currently we are looking for, just new space. While we love being in Portage Place, I imagine a space like a kind of like an art hub downtown where we can have the Urban Art Center and Upbeat artworks together under one roof, just to have something like that where people can watch and see people do make art and also buy art in the same kind of area. Maybe have my staff under one roof instead of right now we're just 3 sites and 4 staff, and it's quite straining that way.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. On that topic, something we tend to ask our guests is if all of your barriers were magically lifted tomorrow, what kind of decisions would you want to make moving forward? What would you want to do with all those obstacles out of the way?
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I would definitely hire more staff to help us out here. We have a lot of community projects that we do. Our alumni are out there teaching workshops to other organizations and other businesses as well. So I would like to expand that way and maybe pay our artists so they can go out there and just work on, because it's a big achievement for our alumni to teach a workshop, and it really builds up their confidence and it really helps with their mental health. And so if that wasn't a barrier, and we wouldn't have to wait for other organizations to approach us or to pay us, we'll just offer for free and we can pay our alumni as well. Another big major one, obviously, like I said, to buy a piece of property or something to house our art endeavors. So like our Urban Art Center, Studio Central, and Upbeat together as one, like this little hub downtown. I see it in my mind, and we used to have a performing arts kind of component to it too before COVID. So I would like to have that back. So have a little live music. Our artists can maybe learn at Upbeat. Also, a lot of our artists learn retail skills. So I would like to have an expansion, more of a employment kind of program for our alumni to either continue to learn these employable skills with us and then eventually get jobs out there outside of Artbeat. And just being able to provide more for our artists in terms of bus fare, in terms of a lot of barriers like internet and phones. We sometimes have a hard time reaching them because they don't have all of these things that a lot of us just take for granted, or a lot of us don't even consider a barrier. But there are many people out there that are without internet, that are without devices that have internet capabilities, and to be in communication and to have that supportive group or supportive person for them through this. That's something that any barriers I would love to provide, so they can come and, free bus fare for them to come and enjoy all of our programs for free, and also another thing would be just food, also something that is a basic need, but we see that is quite a big struggle and a big barrier for many of our participants here.
That's incredible. All very, very good things, wonderful things. And we're rooting for you, and our fingers are crossed that, these barriers dissipate and, if not, can become way less straining so that you guys can continue to do that work, because those are wonderful things that our community needs. That's great to hear. How can people become involved in Artbeat Studio? How can people become a part of what you guys are doing?
Yes. So, and people can, if they think that they are a fit for our artist in resident program, can get in contact with me. You can call the office here, or they can send me an email. We could set up a tour. We do intakes twice a year, and we can accommodate up to 8 artists at a time. We also have, people can always donate to us, either that be online, like Canada Helps, or you could do it in person at the store. They can also buy a piece of art. All of our art are local. It is also one of a kind, unless they're prints. But our artists, this is part of their journey, and a piece of art. And it's not just art. It is art, but we have jewelry, and we have all sorts of everything from knitting to scarves, even dish scrubbies that one of our artists beautifully knitted. But a purchase from Upbeat is a support for local Winnipeg artists. It's a support for mental health. It's a support for Artbeat, the charity. So just one art piece like that can really show support as well. Sometimes we have events, and if you want to volunteer, let us know. Speaking of events, we have one coming on the 17th. It's our group 33. It's their biannual group show. It's our first in-person show since COVID. Our last one was in 2020, like early January, and then everything got shut down, and we've been doing them online. So this is the first in-person show. So on the 17th, and from 7 to 9, it's free. So come on down, take a look at, the art that is produced here. And that's another way to support us as well.
Awesome. How can people find you? Do we get like Instagram names and like the website and everything like that? Do you have a phone number?
Absolutely. You can find us on Facebook, Artbeat Studio. Same name at Instagram. You can email contact@artbeatstudio.ca. And our phone number, the main one here at Artbeat, is 204-943-5194. And we're open 11 to 5 weekdays.
Perfect. That's awesome. All of our listeners, please go and follow them and follow along with what they're doing, the good work they're doing. Of course, donate to them, find ways that you can support, boosting their socials, boosting their events that are coming up, because they're just doing incredible work. So yeah, to all of our listeners, please go and find them. One thing we like to do before we wrap up is we like to ask what song you would like to play after the episode is finished as we air on the radio. So if there was a specific song that you had in mind that would go along with the interview, or that you just enjoy in general, please feel free to let us know.
Oh, okay. I did not think about this. I don't know. I'm more of like a early 2090s person, and people don't enjoy music when they're sitting in my car with me. But it's the Christmas time. I don't know, maybe Britney Spears, Santa, Can You Hear Me? So maybe somebody can out there hear us and continue their support of us.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you very much, Uyen, for taking the time out of your day to come and speak to us and educate us on what y'all are doing at Artbeat. Sounds incredible. And just very excited to see what y'all do in the future.
Yes, no, thank you very much for having us. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll keep in touch and continue doing the good work you're doing. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
This has been Engage on UMFM 101.5 with your hosts, Kate Jones and Josue Devi. We were just speaking with Artbeat Studio. Please go and check them out, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.